I'm heading uptown here to meet David Kroodsma, the Copenhagen Ambassador, who's headed for Copenhagen, the UN Climate Change Conference. And I'm heading up there on my brand new speeding ticket. And his New World tourist, his dad's tourist, is arriving at the Huffington Post today. So it's all a great day for Bike Friday people. So I'm outside the Sheraton, New York, and it's 9:30 and I'm getting ready to meet David Kroodsma, the Copenhagen Ambassador. Well, it's so cold out there. I've decided to wait in the lobby for David while he gets his stuff together. He's off to the Huffington Post today to do work for his impending week in Copenhagen. All really important stuff. David!
Yes.
Got my camera on. You're used to that now, aren't you? Kroodsma?
Kroodsma, very
Kroodsma,
good.
there you go. Look, sorry, I just thought I'd just wait here. As you can see,
Great.
this is the Bike Friday.
Which one is this one?
This is the ticket.
That's the ticket. Yeah, I watched your video of it.
No, did you? Did you really?
Well, I watched the video of folding it up.
This is why you buy a ticket, right? No one has stopped me yet. Mind you, hotels are all about hospitality, right? So
Yeah.
there would be a showing of extreme hostility if they actually didn't let us in.
It's amazing because such a small percentage of the people here actually use the cars. It just seems like a huge waste of space.
Yes, it's like the cars are given the same prominence as the Empire State Building.
Exactly, and it's just so unpleasant.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what's unpleasant about the city. It's not the people, it's not the buildings, it's the cars.
Well, it's almost like part of New York. The yellow cab thing. Maybe if we just get rid of the cars and keep the yellow cabs.
Well, I mean, it just makes you always feel stressed to have cars driving. When cars are driving fast, it stresses you out.
And we're sitting down to a real cyclist breakfast. We just kind of mosied across from the Sheraton across the road.
We looked at the $17.
No, the $19 bagel. That's a really good
bagel. Decided that was a little out of our price range.
With the extra butter option. Cyclists, we're cheap and choosy.
Copenhagen is the city in the world with the highest percentage of people that use bicycles.
Right.
Over a third of community use bikes. Maybe it's 2015 or 2020. They hope to raise that to 50% of commuters. So it's going to be really exciting to get to the airport, unfold my bike, and ride away.
With the trailer? Do you have the trailer?
I have the trailer. So I have a duffel bag and I'll just put all my stuff into the trailer and bike out the door.
So even though it's your dad's bike, you know how to use it?
Well, yes, actually, and my father's the same height as me, so I'm always encouraging him to buy a bicycle.
Oh, all right. Okay. No, your dad rocks. I mean, I presume all those pictures we saw on your story about Managua, was that your dad more or less riding it?
That was him on the Bike Friday. So I biked from California to the tip of South America, and my father, he flew into Managua, Nicaragua, and then biked with me for 2 weeks to San Jose, Costa Rica with his Bike Friday, unfolded at the airport, biked out, and then biked to the airport in San Jose.
What a dad!
Yeah.
Dad's giving you the keys to his New World Tourist, right?
He is.
That's serious. That's serious. This is called a speeding ticket, so it actually has a double chain ring. It's very fast. I mean, bar con shifters and brakes, rather than just a flat bar, which would be more compact for city riding. But this is designed to go a little further. So if you're actually going to use it, have a bike to replace another bike, this would be the bike.
That's excellent. I'd love to get a video of you holding it. Working for 350.org, and also I work for Climate Ride. It's a 5-day, it's a fundraising ride for nonprofits to do climate advocacy. The goal of 350 is it's a global organization that's trying to draw attention to the number 350, which we think is the safe level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, 350 parts per million.
Wow, and what is it right now?
It's almost 390. So we're actually above what is likely the safe level. Background's in climate science. I actually studied the carbon cycle, which is how carbon dioxide cycles from our biosphere into our atmosphere and through the rest of the Earth's various systems. I have a master's in Earth systems from Stanford, where I did my research with my former professor, who's now the head of Working Group 2 of the IPCC, and I have a lot of friends working in climate science currently, and so I'm very up to date on the most recent studies and papers and what is going on with the science.
Are there any real definite hard figures, like if say X% of people stopped driving their cars and rode bikes instead, you would actually see a reduction of this amount? Is that something that's actually measurable and
well, it is, but I prefer to think more about a city as a whole as opposed to an individual, because I think a lot of our decisions are based on the layout of our cities. If it's easy to bike in your city, you will bike. If it's not, you probably won't. So what I'm going to be looking at soon is the difference between Copenhagen and the United States. Copenhagen, the carbon emissions from transportation are about a third that of an average United States city. That is simply because it's really easy to use public transit and bicycle in Copenhagen. About a third of residents in Copenhagen use bicycles to commute. I think there's this big emphasis on personal decision, personal responsibility, which I agree with. I think it's fantastic. But to solve this problem, we need to take collective decisions. We need to tell our leaders to design our laws, to design our cities so that it is easy and profitable for us to reduce our carbon emissions.
I want to give you, David, one of my traffic cone hacks.
Oh wow!
This is made in New York, so it's very low carbon emissions, and it's black. You see, when you want to be a metrosexual, when you want to get on the bike, you just unclip it, turn it inside out.
Oh, fantastic!
So this is good. I'm giving this one to you.
Wow! Well, thank you very much.
I hope you enjoy.
Wow, that's great.
Hopefully, this will keep you visible while you're in Copenhagen.
Well, I think actually I don't have to worry too much about visibility in Copenhagen because there's separate bike lanes for the bicycles.
That's right, and you've seen the one here, haven't you, in New York?
I have. I think what's interesting is one, how good it is in New York, and two, how far away it is from where it could be. So for the US, it's quite good. You know, by Europe's standards, by the world's, we still have another order of magnitude to go before we get to where we can be.
Do you think the folding bike is a very useful part of this solution?
Oh, I love the folding bike.
I mean, how do you see that it actually can contribute to the lowering of carbon emissions?
Well, anything that makes biking more convenient and easier will encourage people to bicycle. And a folding bike, which allows you to take it to public transit, allows you to bring it into stores, that is a huge convenience factor. And it's allowing me, for instance, to bring a bike to Copenhagen to ride around it.
Fantastic. Welcome to the fall.
Well, right now I'm just borrowing my dad's bike. He was like, "Are you sure you need a bike in Copenhagen?" And I said, "Yes, I need your bike." There are bikes there I could use for sure.
Big clunkers.
No, they're clunkers. They're not nearly as fast and nice, and also I won't be able to physically ride away from the airport. The great thing about the bike ride is it gives you a lot of versatility in where you can go.
When you're 100 years old, you can get your leg over a folding bike.
Well, you can ride till you die. So this pannier here has been on over 21,000 miles of riding with me. Went down from California to Argentina and across the United States. In Mexico, I spray painted it brown so that it would look cheaper.
But it looks very stylish. It actually looks like it's sort of acid wash or something.
Really?
It does.
No,
I thought that was the finish.
I asked Arkell is going to send me a new one so that I have something that's a little nicer.
I honestly thought that was the pattern, the design.
No, that right there is me thinking I want this to look cheaper.
Well, I'm afraid it looks like something you could buy out of Louis Vuitton, except with Arkell on it.
The Copenhagen Ambassador representing the citizens of Copenhagen,
right,
which in theory represents all of us. And the goal of Copenhagen is twofold. It's one, to let people in the world know about the importance of the Copenhagen negotiations. And secondly, it's to share with our leaders messages of hope from people around the world, why we are hopeful that we can solve climate change. So I'm going to ask you, Lynette, what makes you hopeful that we can solve climate change?
Well, I have to say, this may sound terribly biased, but personal transportation, that makes me hopeful.
That's great.
6 foot tall David Kroodsma is giving my little tiny bike a shot.
I love these handlebars. These are very nice. I could see touring on this handlebar setup. It looks nice and light.
Yeah.
Although I would need it a little wider.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So anybody's watching this video without the sound on, this is not a well-fitting Bike Friday, but he's actually giving it a bit of a go. And
I mean, it feels like a bicycle. It feels like a bicycle that's a little small for me, but it actually feels very sturdy. So it's good. Thank you very much, Lynette.
Here he is. He's going into the big glassy tower. And we're going to be watching you on your blog, which is
rideforclimate.com/blog, or go to Copenhagen.org.
Copenhagen.
Or go to the Huffington Post/green.
Right.
Yeehaw! Right on!